The Duggar family, synonymous with conservative Christian values and a sprawling brood of 19 children, has long captivated public attention. Beyond their reality TV fame on *19 Kids and Counting*, the family has strategically built a real estate portfolio that reflects both their financial acumen and the complexities of managing a household of such scale. Recently, Jinger Duggar, the eldest Duggar daughter-in-law, reignited interest in the family's property holdings during a candid discussion about one of their Arkansas estates. This article explores the Duggars' real estate ventures, the specifics of the property Duggar highlighted, and the broader implications of their wealth accumulation. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar rose to national prominence through their TLC reality series, which chronicled their life raising a massive family in rural Arkansas. Their story became emblematic of a devoutly religious, patriarchal lifestyle, emphasizing homeschooling, modesty, and communal living. However, beneath the surface of their wholesome image lies a shrewd approach to financial management. The family's income streams, including book deals, speaking engagements, and their TV show, have funded a diverse array of investments, with real estate serving as a cornerstone of their wealth-building strategy. Over the years, the Duggars have acquired multiple properties across Arkansas, primarily in the Fayetteville and Tontitown areas. These range from sprawling farms to suburban homes, many of which are used to house their children as they marry and start families of their own. The family's business, Duggar Family Farms, further underscores their commitment to land ownership, combining agricultural ventures with residential development. This strategy not only secures their legacy, but also aligns with their belief in self-sufficiency and multigenerational living. In a recent episode of her podcast, Jinger Duggar's Unfiltered Journey, Duggar, married to eldest son Josh Duggar until his 2022 conviction for child pornography offenses, spoke about a specific Duggar-owned property. While details were sparse, Duggar referenced a large estate near Tontitown, Arkansas, which the family has owned for over a decade. Described as a compound-like residence with barns, horse stables, and expansive acreage, the property exemplifies the Duggars' preference for rural, self-contained spaces. Duggar's commentary hinted at the property's dual role as both a family retreat and a financial asset. She noted its proximity to their other holdings, suggesting it may serve as a hub for extended family gatherings or agricultural activities. The property's layout, typical of the Duggars' style, includes a main house designed for communal living, with separate quarters for guests or younger family members. Duggar's remarks also alluded to renovations undertaken to modernize the home while preserving its rustic charm, a balance the family often strikes to maintain their brand's authenticity. The Duggars' real estate portfolio extends far beyond this single property. Public records and local reports indicate ownership of at least 6 major properties in northwest Arkansas, including a 30-acre farm in Lincoln County and a commercial lot in Springdale. These acquisitions are often funded through profits from their media ventures, which, at their peak, reportedly earned the family over $1 million annually. One notable strategy is the family's use of trusts and LLCs to manage assets, a move that offers both tax benefits and liability protection. For instance, the Duggar Family Farm LLC holds several parcels of land, allowing the family to lease portions for farming or events while retaining ownership. This approach not only generates passive income, but also preserves land for future generations. Additionally, the Duggars have capitalized on Arkansas's booming real estate market. Property values in Fayetteville, a college town near their base, have surged by over 50% since 2018, per Zillow data. By purchasing land in emerging areas decades ago, the family has seen exponential growth in equity, which they can leverage for further investments or family needs. Cultural and controversial context. The Duggars' wealth and property holdings have not been without controversy. Critics argue that their lavish lifestyle, evidenced by their multiple homes and luxury vehicles, contradicts their public embrace of modesty and simplicity. This tension intensified following Josh Duggar's legal troubles, with detractors questioning how the family's resources were allocated. However, supporters counter that the Duggars prioritize family sustainability, using their wealth to support children and grandchildren in a cost-effective manner. Moreover, the family's real estate choices often reflect their values. Many of their properties are zoned for agricultural use, aligning with their emphasis on hard work and self-reliance. The Tontatone estate, for example, includes gardens and livestock areas, reinforcing their commitment to homesteading principles. Such decisions resonate with their conservative fanbase, who view the Duggars as a model for traditional living. Legal and financial implications. Owning extensive property comes with challenges, particularly for a family under public scrutiny. The Duggars have faced lawsuits over unpaid contractors and zoning disputes, though most claims were settled quietly. Tax filings reveal that the family benefits from agricultural exemptions, which reduce property tax burdens, a common practice among rural landowners. However, Josh Duggar's legal battles have cast a shadow over the family's finances. His defense fund, partially supported by family resources, reportedly drained millions from their accounts. This raises questions about whether the Duggars might sell off properties to cover future legal costs or sustain their lifestyle amid dwindling media revenue. The Tontatone estate, with its high valuation, could become a focal point in such scenarios. The future of the Duggar real estate legacy. As the Duggar children marry and start families, the demand for housing continues to grow. Properties like the Tontatone estate may be repurposed to accommodate younger generations, ensuring the family remains geographically cohesive. Meanwhile, Jim, Bob, and Michelle, now in their 60s, may shift toward downsizing, transferring assets to trusted heirs like son John David, who has managed some family ventures. Market trends also play a role, with Arkansas's population growth driving up land prices. The Duggars are well positioned to profit if they choose to sell. Yet, their history suggests a preference for long-term holding, prioritizing family use over short-term gains. Conclusion: a testament to faith and financial foresight. The Duggars' ownership of the Tontatone property, as highlighted by Jinger Duggar, encapsulates their blend of pragmatism and ideology. While critics may question their wealth, the family's real estate strategy underscores a commitment to their values: multigenerational unity, self-sufficiency, and fiscal responsibility. Whether the property remains a family asset or becomes a bargaining chip in future challenges, it stands as a symbol of the Duggars' enduring influence, both on and off the screen. In an era where reality TV dynasties often fade into obscurity, the Duggars' legacy, rooted in land and tradition, offers a unique case study in how public figures navigate the intersection of faith, family, and finance. As the saga continues, one thing is clear: the Duggar name will remain etched into the Arkansas landscape for generations to come. The Duggar family, known for their large household and deeply rooted conservative Christian values, has long been in the public eye. With 19 children, the family gained widespread recognition through their reality television series, *19 Kids and Counting*, which chronicled their lives, faith, and parenting philosophy. However, the pandemic presented an unprecedented challenge, testing not only their family dynamic, but also their ability to navigate the uncertainties of a global health crisis. As social distancing measures and lockdowns became the norm, the Duggars, like many others, had to adapt to a new reality, one that restricted movement, limited gatherings, and, in some cases, separated loved ones during critical moments. The stakes were particularly high for the Duggars, given their tightly knit family structure and reliance on communal living. Their home in Arkansas, once bustling with activity, became a place of isolation and concern as the virus spread across the country. The family's faith, which had always been a cornerstone of their identity, was put to the test as they faced the very real possibility of losing one of their own. When matriarch Michelle Duggar fell ill with severe symptoms linked to the virus, the situation took a dramatic turn, forcing the family to confront the fragility of life in ways they had never experienced before. This period marked a significant shift for the Duggars, as they transitioned from being a public-facing family, often scrutinized for their beliefs, to individuals facing a deeply personal and vulnerable moment. The emotional weight of the crisis, coupled with the restrictions imposed by hospitals and government guidelines, created a tense and uncertain environment, one that would leave a lasting impact on each family member, particularly Michelle's daughter Jinger Duggar, who would later recount the harrowing experience. As Michelle Duggar's condition worsened, the decision to seek medical attention became unavoidable. Her symptoms, high fever, difficulty breathing, and extreme fatigue, mirrored those of severe cases, prompting her husband, Jim Bob Duggar, and their adult children to rush her to the hospital. Upon arrival, medical staff quickly assessed her condition, noting her dangerously low oxygen levels. Given the highly contagious nature of the virus and the strict protocols in place, Michelle was immediately placed in isolation, limiting direct contact with her family. This separation, a necessary measure to prevent further spread, only heightened the family's anxiety as they were left waiting for updates, unable to physically comfort their mother. Inside the hospital, Michelle endured a grueling battle against the virus. Medical professionals worked tirelessly to stabilize her, administering oxygen and closely monitoring her vitals. Despite their efforts, she struggled to recover, her body weakened by the infection. The isolation and uncertainty of her condition took a visible emotional toll on her, as she grappled with the fear of not surviving and being separated from her loved ones. Meanwhile, outside the hospital walls, the Duggar family faced their own emotional turmoil. With visitation policies restricting access, they relied on brief phone calls and video chats to stay connected, often witnessing Michelle's distress through a screen. The helplessness of the situation weighed heavily on them, especially Jinger Duggar, who would later recount the heart-wrenching moments of watching her mother struggle through the ordeal. As Michelle Duggar's condition deteriorated, her mental and emotional state reached a breaking point. Confined to a hospital room, isolated from her family, and struggling to breathe, she found herself overwhelmed by fear and frustration. Jinger Duggar, one of Michelle's daughters, recalled the moment that would haunt her for months to come, a video call in which her mother, barely able to catch her breath, pleaded for someone to be by her side. "I don't want to die alone," Michelle gasped through tears, her voice trembling with desperation. The sight of her usually strong and composed mother reduced to such a state of vulnerability was unbearable for Jinger, who could do little more than watch helplessly from the other end of the screen. The hospital staff, following strict protocols, urged Michelle to remain calm, but their reassurances did little to soothe her growing panic. She was confined to a sterile, impersonal space, surrounded by masked medical workers who, despite their best efforts, could not provide the comfort of a familiar face or a reassuring touch. "She was so scared," Jinger later recounted, her voice heavy with emotion. "She just wanted someone there with her, but they wouldn't let us in." The rigid policies, designed to prevent further spread of the virus, felt unbearably cruel in that moment. Jinger, along with the rest of the family, was left grappling with the agonizing reality that they could not physically be there for their mother in her most vulnerable hour. The situation escalated when Michelle, overcome by fear and exhaustion, began resisting the medical staff's instructions. In her desperation, she begged to leave the hospital, convinced that she would be safer at home. "I just want to go back to my house," she cried, her voice breaking as she clutched the phone tighter. The nurses tried to de-escalate the situation, reminding her that she needed medical care, but Michelle's distress continued to mount. Jinger, watching the scene unfold, feared that the hospital staff might take drastic measures to restrain her mother. "I was afraid they were going to haul her out," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. The thought of her mother being forcibly subdued by medical personnel, all while suffering from a life-threatening illness, was almost too much to bear. Despite the chaos of the moment, Michelle eventually regained enough composure to allow the doctors to continue treating her. The call ended with promises of prayers and reassurances that her family would be waiting for her recovery. But for Jinger, the memory of that desperate plea, the raw, unfiltered fear in her mother's voice, would remain etched in her mind, a painful reminder of the emotional toll the pandemic had taken on their family. In the wake of Michelle Duggar's hospitalization, the family leaned heavily on their faith and each other to navigate the emotional turmoil. Prayer became a central part of their daily routine, with the Duggars gathering virtually to intercede for Michelle's recovery. Each day, they shared updates, hopeful messages, and scriptures that offered comfort, reinforcing their belief that God would guide them through this crisis. This spiritual foundation not only provided solace, but also served as a unifying force, reminding them of their shared values and the importance of resilience in the face of adversity. Alongside their faith, the family also relied on a network of friends and extended family for support. Regular video calls and messages flooded in, creating a sense of connection that transcended physical distance. These interactions became lifelines, allowing them to share their fears, hopes, and even moments of laughter, which lightened the heavy atmosphere surrounding Michelle's illness. The outpouring of love and encouragement from their community reminded the Duggars that they were not alone in their struggle. They were enveloped in a tapestry of support that uplifted their spirits during the darkest days. As Michelle's health began to improve, the family's resolve only strengthened. The emotional bonds that had been tested during this crisis emerged even more robust, deepening their appreciation for one another. The experience of facing such a harrowing situation together forged an unbreakable unity, reinforcing their commitment to standing by each other through life's challenges. Ultimately, the Duggars emerged from this ordeal not only with a renewed sense of faith, but also with a profound understanding of the strength that comes from love, prayer, and unwavering support from those around them. The Duggar family's harrowing experience during the pandemic reflects the broader struggles faced by countless families worldwide. As the virus swept across communities, it not only disrupted daily life, but also laid bare the emotional and psychological toll of isolation and uncertainty. The stringent measures implemented to curb the spread of the virus, while necessary, often resulted in loved ones being separated during critical moments, intensifying feelings of helplessness and fear. Michelle Duggar's hospitalization exemplifies the heart-wrenching reality that many families encountered: the agonizing inability to be physically present for a loved one in distress, a scenario that became all too common during this unprecedented time. Moreover, the ethical dilemmas surrounding healthcare decisions came to the forefront during the pandemic. The Duggars, like many others, were thrust into situations where they had to grapple with difficult choices regarding medical care, balancing personal beliefs with the advice of healthcare professionals. The emotional weight of these decisions was compounded by the ever-evolving landscape of medical guidelines and the fear of the unknown. This tension between individual autonomy and collective safety sparked widespread debate, prompting many to question the ethical implications of restrictive policies and the prioritization of public health over personal choice. The psychological impact of the pandemic on families cannot be overstated. The constant anxiety about health, coupled with the grief of lost connections and the stress of adapting to new norms, left many struggling with mental health issues. The Duggar family's experience serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of mental health support and the need for compassionate approaches in healthcare settings. As society continues to navigate the aftermath of the pandemic, the lessons learned from such experiences will be crucial in shaping future responses to crises, emphasizing the need for empathy, flexibility, and a holistic approach to health that considers both the physical and emotional well-being of individuals and families alike. The pandemic undeniably left a lasting imprint on the Duggar family, reshaping their perspectives on health, faith, and togetherness. For Michelle Duggar, her battle with the virus became a profound testament to both her vulnerability and her resilience. Emerging from the hospital, she carried with her a deeper appreciation for life and a renewed sense of gratitude for the support of her family. Her experience reinforced the family's belief in the power of prayer and divine intervention, strengthening their spiritual foundation in a way that would continue to influence their lives long after the crisis passed. Beyond the personal impact, the Duggars' journey through the pandemic also played a role in shaping their public image. While they had long been a well-known family due to their reality show and media presence, this period of hardship humanized them in a new way. Their openness about the emotional toll of Michelle's illness allowed fans and followers to see them not just as a large, tightly knit family with deeply held beliefs, but as individuals who, like many others, faced fear, uncertainty, and loss. This vulnerability, though difficult, ultimately deepened their connection with those who followed their story, reinforcing their message of faith, perseverance, and familial love. In the broader cultural conversation, the Duggars' experience reflected the universal struggles of families navigating the pandemic. Their story became part of a larger narrative about the emotional and ethical dilemmas faced by millions, highlighting the importance of compassion, adaptability, and the enduring strength of family bonds. Even as they moved forward, the lessons learned during this time remained with them, shaping not only their personal relationships, but also the legacy they would continue to build in the years to come.